Hello and welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel where I talk about all kinds of edible things that I grow in my yard, permaculture, and just cool plants. So I thought I'd jump on and do a quick live stream. I'm not sure how quick it'll be. Maybe some of the friends of the channel will jump on. But I am excited to tell you about a few things that I've added to the yard this year. I've really expanded my collection and I really am enjoying the changes I've made, so I thought I'd share a few of those with you. I finally, and those of you who've watched the channel for a while know this has been a obsession of mine, which is a tamarind tree. I finally got tamarind tree, and I liked it so much I went and I actually got another one. I got two tamarind trees. I have one in the front yard. The tamarind tree is a very salt intolerant, not salt, cold intolerant tree when it's young. So, however, I know that once it gets established, it can go down to, it can handle, just under freezing for a little bit. And so it should do well here. But this is a really uncommon tree in the area of Central Florida where I live. I look around at what people have growing all the time, and I've never seen Florida much more common, I hear. But you can see I planted this thing, and it's already got some nice green shoots that have popped out since I planted it. And keep careful to keep it watered. I've also got a lot of rabbit manure that I've been adding on there from my little bunnies that are producing incredible amounts of manure. So grateful for that. And here is another thing I added this year, which is the strawberry tree. Now I actually planted a couple of strawberry trees. My phone was saying it's running out of batteries. I'm at 15%, so I'll be limited by that today. But this Montingia tree or strawberry tree or cotton candy tree, I bought this one at a nursery, and one of the advantages of doing that is you have something that has a somewhat developed trunk. And one of the cool things about the strawberry tree is that it has this white bark on it. It might be a little bit difficult to see, but it gets a really interesting, almost fuzzy bark to it. It's already got fruit on it. This is a strawberry, or one of the little cherries, whatever you want to call them, Jamaican cherries. And it'll produce tons. It's sensitive to salt, and my irrigation is very salty since the groundwater is close to the ocean. 5-gallon buckets everywhere. I also took a risk and bought a Valencia orange tree. So, pretty happy about this thing. Citrus trees can struggle with the saltiness of the irrigation as well, but I tried to place it in a place where I have one sprinkler there and I actually have another one here, and this is in between, so my hope is it doesn't get as much water on the leaves, but I think it's still getting plenty of water. Here's another thing. I finally found dwarf Malay coconuts. I found them at a great nursery in Wabasso, and I ended up buying 4 of them. So now I've planted one of them back here. You can see it's a decent sized one. It was about $50 for that, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And it's the dwarf Malay, which is really, I think, the preferred one for a smaller yard because it doesn't get so big. Now my Guinea fig tree, which produces figs the size of tennis balls, they say, is just now starting to get its shoot on, so to speak. And it's been about a month since I planted it, a month and a half. And it had the rust on the leaves pretty bad at first. I actually ended up taking off most of those, and it looks like the rust is kind of starting again. So it's really not worth messing with the rust. You just kind of let it happen, give it enough nutrients. Again, tons of rabbit manure, so all these things are just cranking, and I'm watering them every day. I want to show you a new thing that I added, and that is vertical growing. I got this idea from Suzanne over at Funky Chicken Farm. Go check out the video about that if you like it. It's a cool small farm over there. It's where I got the rabbits. Recommend you check it out if you need chicks or rabbits or whatever. But anyway, I'm going back there. I want to get one more rabbit. Just haven't built the cage yet. But yeah, she has a really evolved system of vertical growing. I just started. This is my first attempt at it. And what I did was I put just regular potting soil, but unfortunately, because my compost system is not ready yet. But what I did was I added peppermints and different kinds of mints along the bottom that I got at the store, and then I add these carrot greens, which I planted. We use these to feed the bunnies. They love it. That's like bunny candy. And then this level is dill. Again, bunny candy. They love it even more than carrot greens, that's for sure. And here's the red kale. More. All this stuff is our food and the rabbit food. And now we're also starting to plant the pineapple tops, because we'll grow those up in the top. So really stoked about that. So cool. And the cool thing is, the way I'm going to do a video about this on how I got it set up, and it's really easy once I figured out a way I'd do it, but you can rotate it easily now. I think if you had about 10 of those, you could probably produce enough food for a small family, vegetables wise. I mean, it's a really efficient way to use the space. Limited space, maximize it. That's 20 plants there. Now, some other things that I added were this little white Marsalis fig, which is starting to just now jump in. It takes a little while for these figs to get the roots set up. And once they do, though, if you give them full sun, they're going to just start going off. And you can see this one is doing it. It's just a little guy, $12 fig tree, but excited about it. Here's my grapefruit tree, doing very well. It's doing exactly what all citrus basically does in my yard, which is it gets tons of leaf-eating insects and boring stuff and aphids all over it. And I knew that was going to happen, and I'm just not stressing about it or trying to deal with it too much. But the idea is it grows fast enough and strong enough, the grapefruit tree, that it will grow through a lot of that stuff. And that's why I like it. That's why I got it. It's getting hit with a sprinkler every day too, so it doesn't like that. But it'll grow up kind of above it. And interesting thing is, that's a side effect. It's already got fruit set on it, and now I get to decide if I'm going to leave it on there. Look at this area. I turned a corner of my yard into a interesting bed, all kinds of greens. This is a beautiful pigeon pea, high protein pigeon pea. That's a great choice for any yard, really. If you don't have pigeon peas in your life, you should. I'll put a link here to the video of how to grow them. Ben helped us there. But I've got all kinds of other things here too. This is a little part of my yard. No, one here. These red beets really, really are strong growers. I love the way the big adult leaves look too. Now the rabbits will eat these, but I'm afraid you shouldn't give them too many of those. They have a certain thing in the leaves that you just don't want to give it to them more than a couple times a week. Got a couple of heirloom varieties of tomatoes I got back there, and then of course the banana grove, thriving. But I put 3 new varieties of bananas in from pups I grew from cuttings. 1, 2. No, that's from my old existing grove. That's a big Musa. But here the apple, Orinoco, and one other one. I'm not sure what kind it is, but I'll give you a what you got growing on quick update. I've of course always got new bins of carrot greens growing, and so all these are carrot greens getting ready for the bunnies. And then I've got 10 starfruit trees, little baby starfruit trees. And this is the right time of the year to grow starfruit trees, without any doubt. Starfruit trees, the saplings, the baby starfruit trees, are very, very sensitive to cold. So they will they'll die in a light 40 degrees situation. But you grow them over the summer and get them large enough, then they can survive in the winter. But you want to keep them in a small enough pot that at least the first couple of seasons, I would say, you don't let them get exposed to anything below 50 degrees. But they're so easy to grow. This is a great choice too if you want to grow a fruit tree in a pot that will produce fruit. Starfruit carambola is one of them. Just make sure you get a good variety. I think this is a Ket. Is that right? I don't want to commit to that, but make sure you get a good variety. Some of the varieties can taste a little watery. And then copious amounts of Hawaiian papayas. These are all Hawaiian papayas now. The reason I grow this many papayas is, well, I'll show you. So how I do this typically is I put the seeds in a pot, and it can take months for them to sprout for some reason. But once they all go at once. And there you go. These are all giant Hawaiian papaya trees. And if you want to see what the one it came from looks like, it's like that. So got the seeds off of that, put it in the pot, planted about an inch deep, all the seeds from one papaya, a lot of seeds. And then they just grow up. And what I do is I divide these up into sub pots. And the reason is you want to be able to grow a few papayas and then get rid of the male. So you're hoping that at least a few of these are females that actually give the fruit. That's why, growing one can be together just fine, and then just get rid of them once you find out what the sex is. So, pretty interesting. So let's see what else. Yeah, red Roselli is something I'm really excited about. It's another thing I learned about last year that I've incorporated. I have it planted throughout, but I'll show you some. But it hasn't really grown that strongly. It's kind of just dumping along where I have it, but we'll see how that goes. Okra, dill growing in here as well. There's a red Roselli. You can see it's starting to take the hibiscus shape there too. Red Roselli is a type of hibiscus that grows cranberry flavored fruits. The petals of the flowers are actually like cranberry. It's incredible. And you can eat the leaves like spinach. They taste zesty. These are mammoth sunflowers. Recommend that. They sell them at every department store in the United States. Plant them in clumps of 3 to 4 to 5 sunflowers, and you will have massive sunflowers in no time. They're about the easiest thing to grow I can think of. Continue to try to sprout some loquat. I'm sorry, it's not loquat. The tamarind seeds. I've eaten a lot of tamarind seeds this year, but none of them have sprouted. So I'm going to keep having to experiment. Once I figure out how to make a tamarind tree grow from a seed, I'm going to make a video about it, but it's still a mystery for me. So yeah, all these fruit trees. And here's the thing about planting, I've added a lot of fruit trees this year. You can see just in this shot here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've got ones along the side here, actually. There's a lime tree back in there. And I just moved this banana grove in here. So why did I plant everything right here? Well, you want everything to kind of grow up as at one level, trim it so that they all fit together. If you fly over my yard with the drone, you see all the trees kind of fit together, and that's because I want them to all get sunlight. It's more of a forest effect, but I don't want anything to get blocked out. But you can see how I did that here. I've got mango tree, a couple of different types of cherry trees, a black sapote, chocolate pudding tree, and they've all been grown to fit into each other. But they also allow this south exposure of light to hit this, so it's got enough light, and if I keep the levels of the trees fairly, at least maybe like this, so it can be more like a solar receiver. As you trim it up, they'll be loving it. Florida sun is an incredible energy source for these plants, and they just drink it up. So it's really one of the, sunlight, the water, fertilizer, one of the key components, but the sunlight for sure. A lot of these plants just require a lot of sun. So hopefully my battery won't clip out, but I want to show you a couple more things. Along here, these are all red Rosellis. Just little baby sprouts grown from seeds. By the way, I'm going to tell you that red Roselli, you can get a packet of them online. I'll try to leave a link, but they're so easy to grow. Every single seed sprouted. So unlike the tamarind seeds, so I'm growing that, and then also I put some okra along the back. You can see I'm planting some dill back here, but this area I've been enriching with rabbit manure and a little bit of banana of not having to put stuff into the yard waste here at all, really. I've got a bunch of branches I'm going to need to put in there, but if you can see, this is where the banana grove used to be, and now it is transitioning into a moringa tree grove, and there's one. This one's really doing healthy. It really is healthy, and so is that one over here. See the little guy blowing in the wind. Moringa is one of the highest vitamin things you can possibly consume. The leaves taste a little bit like horseradish, so vitamin of incredible levels. And yeah, so can't wait to get harvesting lots of moringa trees. And I also, this is a harvest grove here, so I'm growing trees to actively harvest them and trim them to produce leaves, just like this mulberry tree here. This is just an ever-bearing mulberry I grew from cutting, and I trim it off, and I actually feed the rabbits. And these mulberries. They love them. The mulberry leaves. They're completely edible and safe for them to eat. And I would recommend. You see, I just pulled off the snip there for sure where I topped it. It's going to be bushing in again. Now the rabbits like to chew on the bark too, so I'll cut more than just this. But the bark's real sweet. But if you ever have a mulberry tree, you should take the end of it and try it. Now I'm going to say it is really good. It's surprisingly good because you expect that it's going to taste like a leaf, but it tastes exactly like a lima bean. I mean, exactly the same flavor as a lima bean, and I actually love lima beans. And I plant these things around. Here's another one I grew in the What You Got Grown On series. Little mulberries here and there. So, normal thing in any way. Well, so thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard.